Sure, you've not recorded this interview
Okay.
somehow, which would be very clever if you had. Um, I'm going to shut my office door. Actually, hang on.
Ah,
There you go. You see, I was kind of like dubious that Olivier, because you're the first person that Olivier's got onto our podcast that I'd actually heard of, and I'm like thinking, and I'm actually you probably know this, and I'm going off at a tangent already, and we've really only got a short period of time. But I'm a Derby County supporter. We used to have a player play for us called Lee Camp, and when he first said that, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
fuck, is that Lee Camp? You know, so being a Derby supporter, I don't think anybody else in the world has heard of him outside of his own family. And I thought, oh no, I know that guy.
Tim, for fuck's sake, we have 30 minutes. Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I get email to the football player
Yeah.
intended for him. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway, we don't have a football player. We have 30 fucking minutes, Tim. Don't go off tangents.
Okay.
We don't fucking care about football. We care about Lee. Jesus.
Okay.
Lee
All right.
Camp on the show. Come on, I'm so excited actually for the first time. No,
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I did some research.
No way.
I know. I mean, it's called Raw Voices because we do
Impressive.
fuck all research. But I thought I'm going to check out this dude a little bit more
Do you want to
because
introduce him?
yeah. No, I'm not that much fucking research. And we're talking. I read the page on Wikipedia. You know, I mean, come on, not enough.
Oh, good. That's only a couple years old. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Does he have
Well-
a page? Actually, I haven't checked that. You have a page, Lee? Wow, you're so famous. Wow.
You could have a page on Wikipedia. It's
I
not.
know. I think you have one too, no, Tim, as well. No?
But no, I don't actually. No, I don't. That'd be so stupid. But I do want to. I want to come back to this because there's some references on Wikipedia that I really, really am keen to get on with. But you do the intro. 'Cause
Anyway,
you're-
yes. Because of our good friend Katie Goodman, we have Lee Camp. Lee Camp,
Yeah.
you're one of my favorite comedian, really. So you're a comedian,
thanks.
stand-up comedian. You are a writer. You are the host of this brilliant show, which is Redacted Tonight. Sorry about my French accent, by the way. If you don't understand
That's
the
all right.
phrase,
It's giving me an erection. Don't apologise
yeah,
for it.
if that's the only thing. But I
Although-
have a sexy voice. That's the only thing. I don't have a brain.
Although it offends my American sensibility, I do understand there are other countries.
Fucking French. Yeah.
Anyway, but if you don't understand me, just say yes, whatever I said. That's okay. You know, that's the only thing. And
Got it.
you are also an activist, and I think we are on the same side of things. And I'm so glad that you are on our show. It's the first show of the year, so I have to. My blood is full of alcohol and champagne and all these things that we do after the new year. So excuse us.
Mine too.
Yeah,
The only way to be.
that's good. Are you drunk right now? Tell the truth.
I am. Yeah, I've been to a local hole in the wall Mexican for lunch and had margaritas. Just in your honour, Lee. Not because I'm a raging alcoholic who cannot say no. Just because I thought I just want to get into the flow of things.
Well, I'm honored.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first question that I had for you, Lee, and we had to be very quick because we have only 30 minutes with you, is you just released kind of a best of your Redacted Tonight show, right? The 2015 best moments right now. And and I just had a look on this one, and there were so many stories, awesome stories that none of the mainstream media are covering. Which one is the most like the one that really hit you on you, like made you crazy in 2015? Do you think of one of these stories that you publish that really drives you mad, or
I mean, it's tough to nail it down to one, just like it was tough to cut that show down to half an hour of best of moments. But I'd say one of the big ones we've hit on a lot is the Trans-Pacific Partnership, this massive trade deal, and of course there's other ones that are affecting Europe. TTIP is the other one, and these things are massive, and they'll create corporate governance over the world, and they're hardly being talked about. I mean, just the TPP will address 40%, will regulate 40% of the economy around the world. And it's hardly being spoken about. It's fucking insane. So that's an important one. we cover a lot of NSA stuff because that's not really talked about enough. All the Snowden revelations. I mean, Snowden himself has talked about a lot, but the actual revelations of what keeps coming out is just not covered much at all. So a lot of that stuff. Recently, I got pretty furious that the leaked documents that showed that 90% of drone bombing victims are innocent civilians. Those are Those are the CIA's own numbers. 90%.
It's collateral damage, Lee. Come on.
Yeah, it is. We collect collateral damage like no one else. We are. If there was an award for collateral damage. So
listen, I'm a Brit. We had you. In the last couple of centuries previous to that, we kicked your ass with collateral damage.
That is true.
You're just racing to catch up now. You want to be Brits, I think.
We're trying to catch up. That's true. Yeah.
So can I ask? Yeah. So I was looking, and I said, I'm being honest and saying, like I say, you're the first person on that we've had on that I'd heard before, and I've heard a little bit of your stand up, and I'd seen a bit of Redacted. But when I went to, I was so pumped when I went to your Wikipedia page, because that's as far as we delve in with. To see the people that influenced you, because it was like a who's who of to me, great comedians. Greg Giraldo's my favourite comedian of all time. Bill Hicks, George Carlin, all fucking dead. Carrot Top's alive and they're dead. I don't know what's going on. Doug Stanhope, who I've seen. Do these guys? What's the inspiration for these guys? Because we've got, on the one hand, you've got this side of you where you are, an activist. On the other hand, you use it with humour. You remind me of a more aggressive John Oliver. Just like how do you marry the two? How do you find So you're talking about something there that's really serious, and then you're talking about an issue, but you're trying to make light of it at the same time. Do you find there's like a dichotomy going on there, and that you actually really want to scream, "Fuck, this is wrong," or whatever?
So unfortunately, I'm only hearing about half of what you said, but I think you, because your sound is cutting out, but I think you asked how do I marry the two between activism and comedy, and it is. I mean, there's no set path, there's no set formula for activism and comedy. I mean, very few have done it. I was also inspired by not just comedians, but activists that have used comedy in the past, such as Abby Hoffman, or currently the Yes Men do a lot of comedic stunts, and so I think comedy is very important in activism. But I consider my stand-up and stuff like that. I consider most of it not activism. I think it's just comedy with a point. I want it to change minds, but the actual on-the-street activism stuff is usually a little separate from comedy. Although it can also be very funny. Those are some of my favorites. Some of the stunts the Yes Men have pulled, like when they went on the BBC and convinced everybody they were Dow Chemical. And they said they were going to pay off the victims of the Bhopal chemical spill, and Dow had to come out and announce that they were not doing that at all. It's like comedy can have a bigger impact than just going on TV and saying these things a lot of the time.
Lee, are you using like your own personal satellite? Because we've got about a 10-second delay going on here. Which is really quite. It's like, you know what? I think it's Olivier's fault, because he's gone offline. Every fucker's gone offline, and I'm sat here on my own. So I'm going to talk because I'm recording my desktop, and
Hello.
Fantastic. Well, this is why it's called Raw Voices. Look at that picture of Olivier on your screen. Doesn't he look like he's like pretending to model for like, something like in the UK we just had a K's catalogue. I'm not sure what the equivalent is over here, but the big catalogue that you used to get as a kid. And well, for me personally, I'm a little bit older than you, Leo. I'm a lot older than you. I'd go straight to the underwear department and I'd disappear to the bathroom for like 5 minutes before my parents realised it had arrived, and quickly knock on out. So
where are you located right now?
well, I'm in Florida now, but I was born in the UK.
Okay.
So yeah, I got sick of the UK, and I came to nice, liberal Florida,
Right.
which is lovely because it's such a fantastic place. And people ask me, why did you move there? And I just point at the sky. Well, it wasn't for the fucking culture or the politics. It's because I can put shorts on first thing in the morning and not really worry about what the fuck know damn well that it's going to be fine. And Skype's been a complete bastard now, and I don't know if you can.
God, it's horrible.
It is, but we'll try and strip the sound out of this, Lee. So you're a big supporter of. Have you ever? By the way, have you ever heard the Doug Stanhope talk on Occupy Wall Street?
No, I've heard a lot of Doug Stanhope stuff, but not that one.
Oh yeah, he talks about like the drum circles and that, and his idea was, he said, don't fucking sit in on Wall Street or in Central Park or whatever. What you need to do is you get a load of people and basically you go to the banks and you tie them up with red tape saying, I want a loan for $1 million for an ant farm, I think is what he said. And then he said you get a load of people doing this all at the same time, and basically you shut the fucking banking system down. And one of the reasons why I love Stanhope because not only is it funny, but it's true. And do you get frustrated with activists that what they're doing is not necessarily making much of a difference?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like activists have a tendency to all get bogged down in their various minor causes rather than see the bigger picture, and it can be fucking infuriating. I have friends who went to like one meeting of Occupy, one day they go down there and they realize that there's a half-hour argument over how much we're going to compost at the Occupy site. And they left because who the fuck wants to do that? So,
right, exactly.
So it can be absolutely infuriating, and that's why I am no organizer. I think organizing is a whole other type of skill, and we need better organizers and more of them. But I know I'm not that.
How, you say you're no organizer. How do you see yourself? How what do you feel like is your? I don't want to get too airy-fairy and say your purpose in life, because that's a load of bollocks. But how do you see yourself?
I mean, I see myself as a comedian first and an activist second, although they're pretty close. So yeah, comedian and activist, I mean, are the two things. And a lot of comedians are so worried about having like I don't want to have a political stance, or I don't want, it's just about the jokes. But it's like, why not? Why not have a fucking opinion? Are you human? Like, fucking say something. So.
Yeah. Well, as George Carlin said about comedy, the point of comedy is to find where the line is and then step over it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I think Olivier's back and he wants to say something. Go for it. Yeah, I bored Lee's arse off in that time.
That's time you'll never have back in your life.
Yeah, you're fucked. Well, I think we have done.
It might have a better connection.
Yeah, my camera's off. I think I can't see.
Well, now I get to look at the
Olivier's got a great
photo of Olivier.
Yeah. Looking slightly. Well, my wife thinks he's hotter than. I've no idea. I mean, she's got him up there with Daniel Craig, So, what the fuck? I have no idea I do that. I mean, just no, I can't. I can't do that. So shut up. I'm just going to stay on camera. How can I be on camera when I can't see myself? I'm just seeing. Just shut up. I'll tell you what. Let's argue for the last 10 or 15 minutes. and that will be much more useful. Or we could just carry on talking to Lee. You know, I'll leave it. No, we don't. Well, Lee, could you get a plane down to Orlando? We'll put you up for the night.
These are the guys who spent the last 2 weeks making fun of my technical proficiency.
I don't think you'll find I did. I think you'll find it came from the French end of the. It was the French connection. Let's just say that. It was Popeye. Yeah.
Yeah, he asked me what my purpose was, what I see my job at.
Oh, shut the fuck up! Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. He'll pull the plug. I know I would. I'd pull the plug if I was him. So, what?
Uh, 50-50.
Well, that's better than Guy McPherson. We had a guy on who's a climatologist. He wouldn't even give us I don't think he'd give us 20%. He's convinced that we're about to die from a methane or a methane bubble that's sat under the Pacific Ocean somewhere that's about to explode and kill us all.
So enjoy the now, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as Greg Giraldo said, tequila and strippers wasn't such a bad policy after all.
No, absolutely not. But no, I'm not that optimistic. But that doesn't mean I won't keep fighting for change. You know, it's like Chris Hedges says, I don't fight fascism because I think I will win. I fight fascism because it's fascism.
Right. So tell me something. You talked about comedians not having a point of view, and maybe it's just because of the comedians that I listen to, that because I like that edge. But I think if you think of the really great comedians from an ability, I don't mean necessarily by popularity, but the really great ones. Certainly Colin towards his end, but Bill Hicks. Giraldo and sort of Stanhope and all that group, they strike me as very sort of political, and it seems to me that maybe this is just a myth or something I built up in my own mind, but most of the really good comedians are to the left of centre, and sometimes a long way to the left of centre. Is that just because that's the stuff that appeals to me, or would you disagree with that?
Well, I think there's far more left-wing comedians than there are right-wing, and there's a few reasons for that. One might be creative minds or tend to be more left-wing. Another might be that it's uncomfortable to see someone from a position of power, whether it be on a stage. These are mostly, a lot of them are white males. A lot of the famous ones have a lot of money, so to see them punch down, to watch Dennis Miller trash poor people is generally not enjoyable. So I think that's why you see so few of them. But I think that you're watching. You are in a bit of a bubble, as am I, in that you're watching the good comedians. Like, you're not watching the 90% of shit that's out there that is comedians that might be popular, but they're not saying anything important or new or different, and that's what most people are watching, I think.
Yeah, because
just name names. I mean, some of the biggest. There was a huge fad 10 years ago with a comedian named Dane Cook here in the U.S. that was just nonsense. There's who's the one in the U.K. that's massive? I can't remember his name.
Michael McIntyre.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Michael McIntyre. Yeah. And it's just like, it's middle of the road that anybody can laugh at. It's the kind of humour that Dane Cook a little bit different. Michael is a little bit more cutting edge, even though I'm not a Dane Cook fan by any stretch of the imagination. But Michael McIntyre is very much, you can put him on at any time of day on the TV. Right. Which kind of made me sort of stop a minute as I was on your website and watching some of your videos earlier on today. that they were bleeped out. Was that because the actual version that you uploaded was bleeped out, or did you do that? Now, I was quite surprised about that, to be honest.
Oh, well, my show airs on television, so they have to bleep it out.
Yeah.
And then they just take that version that aired on television and put it online. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he's doing some really cool stuff. I think he's changed a lot over the course of his career. Yeah, I think for many years he was just going for, you know, the simple laugh and the tit jokes and trying to grab the tits, and then he kind of had a
and he got Katy Perry's tits, so it worked for him.
He
Yeah.
got Katy Perry's tits, and then he woke up, and he apparently informed himself politically, and I think Occupy probably played a pivotal role in that. And I actually am friends with a guy who was a co-host on his TV show, who's not a comedian, who's actually now he's a campaign manager for the only good congressman that we have in Congress. But yeah, Russell Brand's done a lot of good stuff recently. So. Yeah. I think there's a lot of work to be done. I'd say that most people are not, but it's because they're buying into the propaganda that we get on our TV screens. I mean, the number of people that believe every word Donald Trump's saying or every word they see on CNN and BBC, and it's amazing. And so, but I think there is some hope in that. Although the internet is largely, corporations still have huge influence, it is still a bit of a wild west. Information can still get out in a way that it never had before. And I think that's why you do see certain kinds of awakening happening, like the fact that those in the U.S. Who support marijuana legalization went from, like 20% to 60% over the past decade. And gay marriage went from nothing to complete national gay marriage legalization over a decade or 20 years. So there are things happening pretty quickly and pretty dramatically, and I think it's largely due to people becoming informed online.
It's interesting you mentioned the marijuana thing, because my wife's an oncology specialist, and they use a synthetic marijuana for with patients, but just relatively recently, certainly within the last sort of 6 months or so, probably it was maybe the last 12 months, whatever. But Florida voted down the legalization of medical marijuana.
In Florida,
it needed. Yeah, in Florida. Yeah, I know it's Florida, so that doesn't really count. It's just like a separate entity. Yeah. But to her, it was just like it was gobsmacking. Yeah. It was just like, how can you do this? This is something, you're going to get people abuse it. Of course you are. But nobody smokes a joint and goes and holds up a bank. Well, the old joke about what's a fatal dose of marijuana is a 1 pound block dropped off a 20-story building on your head.
Furthermore, the most of medicinal marijuana doesn't get you high. So
exactly.
So the idea that it's needs to be kept illegal is insane.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, do you think? How do you think you get that message, Pat? Do you think there's just this? I talk to clients a lot of the time about cognitive biases, and we just have this. We're invested in an idea that this is evil, this is wrong, or so on and so forth. Do you think that's what it is? Do you think it's just people refusing to admit that maybe they could be wrong, or do you think it's just a right-wing propaganda machine, or what's your take on that?
Well, I think a lot of it is big pharma has put a lot of pressure to not legalize marijuana because people will just smoke that rather than buying all their pills and all their prescriptions. And you
Right.
can grow it at home, which takes a lot of the power and the money out of their hands. It's like why Exxon pushes oil rather than solar is because solar happens in your backyard. Oil they have control over. So I think that's a huge part of the reason that it's not even that not as legalized. It's that it's still a Schedule I drug. It's ranked alongside meth and heroin.
Well, yeah.
Right. We actually did a segment that will air tonight on Redacted Tonight. So we filmed it last night about this very topic. And one of the opening news stories is that I can't remember when National Institute of Sciences, I think, has admitted that recently that pot can kill cancer cells. And so basically, they're saying this drug has no medical benefits. Meanwhile, the federal government is admitting that it kills cancer cells.
Right, so I'm not going to get cancer then. But that's another matter. We'll not touch on that. So nothing. Lee, how do you stop getting just so frustrated? I listen to you talk, and I've got to be honest, I'm a big fan of John Oliver, maybe because he's a Brit or whatever. And I listen to, and every time I watch his program and I watch your stuff, and I was going through the best of earlier on, I was laughing, but at the same time I was kind of seething. How do you keep your sanity? I know that's it's a very ridiculous question, but how do you stop going, fuck, this is insane, I need to kill somebody?
Well, I say that, I just don't do it. I think it's the comedy. Like if I were just screaming on TV without any jokes, without any laughter, without any comedic angle, I think I would go nuts. I don't know how people do that without having comedy or something to as a release valve. So yeah, no, you're right.
He does that.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Apparently it's about time the U.S. had our own Berlusconi.
Well, do you think? I mean, to me, I actually, as somebody that's, I had this incident one time when I moved, just not long after I moved to the USA, and somebody says to me, "You're a liberal." I said, "I know," and he said, "No, you don't understand. You're a liberal." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Basically, you don't understand what liberalism is. I'm in favour of people who are sick getting medical help, and people who are uneducated getting educated. So." But do you, to me, I actually kind of want Trump to win the nomination because I don't think he's capable of winning a national election. But then I start thinking, holy fuck, they voted George W. Bush. Right. I mean, I can remember it's a gutter press, the Sun newspaper, which I'm sure you're familiar with in the UK. But I can remember the headlines when Bush first got elected, and I was actually in San Francisco that night, and it was, how can 54 million people be so stupid or whatever, which was, coming from the Sun, was a little bit derogatory. So you've just bought a copy of the gutter press, so you're already stupid. And but the point of the matter is, now I'm starting to think maybe he could. I mean, do you think that it's possible that he actually could become president?
I think anything's possible with the amount of the amount of not just paid political advertising, but just nonstop coverage on CNN and MSNBC. And even if they're saying negative things about him, it's just endless Trump coverage. You can hardly even hear that anyone else is running. So it's like, do I think with that much coverage he could win? Yeah, he could win.
Fuck.
I mean, you're in
mate. If you want me to get you a plane ticket, you Me and the missus will be on the next plane home. If he becomes president, I'm out of here. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you 5 extra since we got cut off.
5 extra minutes. My masseuse, never gives. What am I saying? My masseur never gives me that long extra.
If you want to talk,
yes.
if you want to talk about footballers with the same name for 5 more minutes,
we could do that. Yeah.
Well, I kind of just touched on it. I mean, the root of all of the, not all of them, but a lot of these problems is money and politics. I mean, our system is so immensely corrupted because of money and politics. Over half of Congress is now millionaires. The person who spends the most money, the candidate who spends the most money on the campaign wins between 80 and 90% of the time. So money is buying our system. And corporations decide what is getting done. So I mean, it's my 2016 fight, but it was my 2015 fight, and my 2014 and 2013 and 2012, and it's unfortunately I don't think it's going anywhere. But that is the heart of the problem. Well. Well, yeah, a few things. Yes, I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, the problem is people are furious, and some of them don't know any better than to channel that fury into supporting Donald Trump, for example. So, but the anger is there. So I think it's only a matter of time till people stand up in different ways. I don't think it'll be called Occupy because the brand, occupying was a tactic, and tactics have to change. But I also do want to say that despite that, maybe a lot of people use Occupy as a punchline nowadays, it did change the entire conversation in at least America, if not other countries as well, from one of austerity to one of why does Wall Street have so much money? Why are they allowed to get away with immense fraud and scandal and scams and bilk our entire system? And that conversation wasn't being had. The term the 99% was not known before Occupy. So even though it's made fun of, it completely changed the zeitgeist in this country. Yeah, I still support Zeitgeist, and Peter Joseph does brilliant stuff. And now I do think that he's visualizing where humankind could get. I don't think we're going to, get rid of money tomorrow. But I think it's important to have thinkers like Peter Joseph that can visualize that far down the road, because people need to know what our possibilities are and think outside the box and see different ways to live and exist. Because if we never have those dreamers, then we'll never get anywhere. Well, yeah. Well, he would argue. He's asked about utopia a lot, and he argues I'm not promoting utopia, and I'm not saying that we can have utopia, but beyond that, I think, the idea of us like working so hard, and most people are working at jobs they hate doing, yet all those jobs are leaving to technology quickly. All self-driving cars and trucks will be here soon, and like nearly a third of our jobs in this country are transport of some form. So those will all disappear soon. And the problem is, it shouldn't, all the savings and everything is going only to the wealthy, not just top 1%, but really top 0.1%. And none of it is going to the workers. So it's creating an unsustainable system. It's absolutely an impossible system. You know, you have the 6 heirs of the Walmart fortune have the same amount of wealth as the bottom 40% of America, and it's completely impossible to keep going like this. No, just my show. That's all I need to do. Just watch my show.
Yeah, you capitalist bastard.
Buy my book and my albums.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'd recommend that they find sources that they trust. You know, I have a lot of sources that are not the mainstream networks like Democracy Now! and many others, and then find writers that they trust. You know, I love what Peter Joseph does. I love Chris Hedges. So there's just a lot of good people out there, and you just got to find them and follow that road where it takes you.
And I think more importantly, people have just got to be open to the fact that there's, you know, the one thing that shocked me, you know, I thought I knew America pretty well before I moved here 10 years ago, but it's like the one thing that seems to be driven down people's throat at the moment is that it's this or that, it's the Republican or Democrat, and
right.
There's no alternative, and there's no, you know, when there's a massive amount of alternatives and different ways of viewing things. And I think, you know, certainly when you get into the Midwest in the US, it's just anything like that, going back to what I was saying about being called liberal, it's just it's not recognized, and it's ridiculed, and through well, I guess it's through, you know, any time something like that happens, it's through fear.
Right.
People are just fearful about, you know, that something that is so different. So,
well, I mean, the positive is, you know, and this goes back to me saying a lot of people are waking up, is the massive support Bernie Sanders is getting shows that some people are understanding what the fact that Jeremy Corbyn won is shows that people are opening their eyes.
Yeah. Sanders to me is fantastic. It's so easy to caricature, but with his arm, you know, doing all this. But I think he's fantastic. I just don't think America's quite ready for him just yet, which is a shame in my opinion. But
well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, Lee, thank you. So, go on. I'll let Olivier wrap it up. But I want to say I'm so grateful for you taking the time to speak to us. And I know we had some technical issues at the forefront. So, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you know, hopefully we'll speak.
Thank you guys, and I'd love to keep in touch.
Okay.
And
I'll let you. I think so.
And the last thing I'm contractually obligated to mention is people can watch the show at youtube.com/Redacted Tonight or at leecamp.net.
We'll do that. Yeah. And we'll put a link into the thing here, and I'm going to send this out to my newsletter list, which is 10,000. So I know I've got 10,000 subscribers. Cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Lee. Take it easy, mate. Cheers. Bye.